This week, homeowners get cash today and then hand off an unknown amount of home equity in the future. Home equity sharing companies are now finding themselves on the ropes after a series of court rulings. We're going to dive into all the details right after this short message from our sponsor.
Liberty Reverse wants to help you grow your reverse mortgage business with our proprietary Equity IQ product suite. Equity IQ gives your borrowers access to more funds, lowers their upfront costs, and expands eligibility for home purchases. Learn more at partners.libertyreversemortgage.com today. This ad is intended for mortgage professionals only and is not a consumer solicitation. PHH Mortgage, doing business as Liberty Reverse Mortgage, is an equal housing lender. NMLS number 2726.
Welcome back and thank you for joining us. Today, we're going to take a closer look at a new trend in tapping home equity that's now facing several legal setbacks, and that could mean the end of home equity investments. First, let's look at the main players in this unique market. Unison was originally founded as First Rex in 2004 and began offering home equity contracts in 2006. The company rebranded to Unison Home Ownership Investors in 2016 and has since expanded its offerings to include equity sharing home loans. HomeTap was founded in 2017 and launched its home equity investment platform shortly thereafter. Then there's Point, which was co-founded in 2014 and began offering home equity investment products shortly after that time. Now, the company Point has funded over 15,000 homeowners and provided more than $1.5 billion in home equity. Now, these companies, they pitch their products as the new way to tap into your home equity with no monthly payments or interest charged. However, a recent court ruling has shown that these contracts are often very complicated and hold risks for older homeowners who really don't know how much equity they're actually going to have to give up when that contract does terminate or end. Now, before we continue, I want to thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing to these videos. It really does help our YouTube channel. Also, if you would consider subscribing to HeckhamWorld.com, that's where you'll find all of the latest reverse mortgage commentary, news, and analysis. Earlier this month, we reported on the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals ruling in the case of Olson v. Unison. Now, in that ruling, the court said that these home equity investment contracts are, in fact, loans, and as such, they are subject to regulations which govern reverse mortgages in the state of Washington. They're not options, they're not investments, but they're actually loans, at least under Washington state law. And that could be a real blow for Unison and also other similar companies that have been touting that their offering is not debt and it has no interest that's charged. Now, the court's rationale was that these contracts do, in fact, obligate the homeowner to a future repayment and essentially are a reverse mortgage by another name. Then, in May 2024, the Washington State Department of Financial Institutions, they initiated an inquiry into home equity sharing agreements to assess their impacts on communities, especially those that are part of vulnerable populations. On February 21st of this year, Washington State's legislature introduced House Bill 1464, which aimed to establish clear definitions and regulations for home equity sharing agreements. Now, that bill was seeking to provide transparency and also consumer protections in the growth of these home equity investment contracts, ensuring that homeowners do fully understand the terms and the implications of these agreements. However, that bill didn't pass in the regular 2025 session, and its future remains uncertain. In February of this year also, Massachusetts took a firm regulatory stance against home equity investment companies. Attorney General Andrea Joy Campbell filed a lawsuit in Suffolk County Superior Court against the Boston-based HomeTap Equity Partners, LLC, as we know them as HomeTap. And they allege that the company was engaged in unlawful and predatory practices which targeted financially vulnerable homeowners. Now, that lawsuit contended that HomeTap's home equity investment product basically functioned as an illegal reverse mortgage because it failed to comply with the state's consumer protection laws. The Massachusetts Reverse Mortgage Act of 1998 does include provisions such as the minimum age requirement of 60, a 7-day cancellation period, and also a requirement for third-party counseling, very similar to what you see for the HECM. Now, what does this mean for you as a reverse mortgage professional? Well, first, these home equity investment companies could soon be facing regulation as a reverse mortgage loan with similar oversight, licensing, and disclosure requirements. And that could be a game ender for these companies. Second, it's wise to educate potential reverse mortgage borrowers on how these products generally work, their risks, and also the lack of consumer protections that you can find with a federally insured home equity conversion mortgage or even the private proprietary jumbo reverse mortgage loans that are in the market today. And those risks in part include unpredictable repayment amounts. How much equity are you handing over in the future? Opaque home equity repayment calculations, and no requirement for counseling whatsoever. Home equity investments, while novel, are not a loophole. They're just a riskier version of a reverse mortgage. And it's our mission as a reverse mortgage professional to let the homeowner be aware of these contracts as they're contemplating just how they may be tapping into their home's value. Now, what are your thoughts? Leave your comments in the comment section below. And also, if you'd be so kind as to share this video on your LinkedIn network, thank you for each of you that do that. We do have a YouTube channel. Be sure to subscribe. That way you never miss any of our weekly content. And each and every week, we curate some unique reverse mortgage related stories in our weekly podcast, HECM World Weekly. We have both an audio and video edition. Listeners can subscribe and listen on Apple Music and Spotify. That's a wrap for us here, and we look forward to seeing you next week with more reverse mortgage news, commentary, and analysis you'll only find here at HECM World. Have a great week.